Okay, welcome to our little practice game that I'm playing with Mr. Kevin Barry right here. We're doing Eldar versus War Convocation, similar lists that we want. Well, Kevin's running his list that he played at LVO. I'm running a list that I want to run for my ITC. Similar list that you've seen, except I'm using 3-man jetbike units as opposed to 4. Still got the Aspect Host, got the Autarch that I took to LVO, and I'm using the special Wraith Knight that everyone's using, the Thatch Wraith Sentinel, and 3 Vol's Wrath. So the mission we're playing is Vanguard Strike. Big Guns Never Tire, so we've got 4 objectives sitting right here. He's sitting on an objective right there as well. And basically we're going to be doing this sort of like an educational, like learning thing, kind of going through our lists and how we're going through, because War Convocation is a difficult list to play against, and of course Eldar is also a very difficult list to play against. So this is the setup right now. None of this is actually on the table. This is all in reserve. My deployment is these 3 Vol's Wrath, 1 unit of Warp Spiders, and then 3 units of bikes just on the back there. And then over here we've got 2 units of Destroyers, 1 with the Dominus, 1 with his Sanguinary Priest because he's using a Flesh Fair Strike Force. 2 units of the Rust Stalkers and the Infiltrators right there. The Imperial Knight, and then 1 of the Stalkers, not the Stalkers, what's that one called?
Onager Dunecrawler.
Onager Dunecrawler. And then this bad Iron Strider. Right, so Kev has turn 1, so I'm going to take a picture of the overview of the battlefield turn at the end of his, and then we'll go through a basic discussion of how we're feeling, that the battle's going, so on and so forth. Alright, so we'll come back at the end of turn 1.
So as you can see here with deployment, with Kevin going first, I've had to deploy up in the back corner to try and stay out of range of his 30-inch grav weapons. His knight is obviously going to be in range to do some damage, but when his drop pods come in, that's the part that I'm most worried about. So we'll have a look at the end of his turn 1.
Alright, so that's the end of Kevin's turn 1. We had 2 drop pods come in with their ranges. He upped his ballistic skill and rerolled failed rolls to hit. But I was passing cover saves like a bit of a boss, and I only lost 2 Warp Spiders, as well as a couple of wounds on some of the Vol's Wrath platforms. So, this is what the battlefield looks like right now. His missions are to secure the objective that this guy's sitting on, and then the objective this guy's sitting on. So, Kev, a little bit of thought as to how that turn went.
Terrible for shooting wise.
What would you have done differently now that the turn's played out?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't thought about it because I was talking to Basil for a second.
Well, I think after the deployment, I feel like these guys, if they had perhaps maybe scouted up a little bit, deployed a little bit differently, perhaps even outflanked or something, would have been okay.
Yeah, but these guys can't outflank.
They can't outflank? No, okay, never mind.
These guys can.
Those guys can.
Yeah, so these guys are running regardless.
Okay.
You can scout them, but that's pretty much it.
Alright, so everything's kind of set up right there. Alright, coming back to my turn. I'll take a quick picture and then we'll go to Eldar turn 1.
So this is how the board looks after turn 1. His drop pods came in, very central location for the first one, and then the second one in the ruins, kind of pinning me in. Now I have 2 options here. His objectives that he has to score are in his back field, so I could turbo boost my jet bikes to contest to make sure he doesn't deny. But my missions are also to hold one of my objectives, I think it's my objective 2, which is just at the bottom there, as well as hold one of his objectives. I can't do that without sacrificing a unit of scatter lasers, so I think the decision that I make is to sacrifice 2 points to him while getting 1 of mine, and then hope that when my reserve rolls come in, I'll be able to come back later.
Okay, so end of Eldar turn 1, I put a little bit of firepower back. This unit has been whittled down to all but 3 guys. This unit is the same. This drop pod no longer exists thanks to some D-shots, and some well-placed D-shots took out one of the Destroyers. Put a wound on the Dominus. I had a really good opportunity to just remove him, but unfortunately I rolled a 1, and 1 hull point also came off of the Imperial Knight. How do I feel about that? I feel pretty good. Objectives are a little bit flimsy. I let him get both of his. I could have just pushed deep into his deployment zone to deny his points, but that would have left my army a little bit thin, so I've kind of set myself up for a nice turn 2. We'll come back. I'll take a picture, and then we'll come back at the end of Kevin's turn 2.
So as I said in the video, I had a really good opportunity to remove his Warlord with a well-placed D-shot. He failed his 2+ invulnerable because he went to ground, but I rolled a 1, so I only removed 1 wound, and I also had a good opportunity to deal 3 hull points to the Imperial Knight, but again, I only rolled a 1. The D-rolls can be a little bit fickle. Other than that, the turn went the way exactly as I interpreted, so Score is currently 2-1 to Kevin, so we'll come back at the end of his turn.
Oh, all right. So, oh, wait, what?
Okay, he's going to try charge him.
Oh, okay, never mind. We'll come back. Never mind, it was non-consequential. So, he tried to assault the Volsrath here with the Knight. Unfortunately, he failed. So, at the end of that turn, he blew off the Warp Spiders from the objective, so I do not get that one. I will get this one on mine. He scored both of his. Assassin came down. There's nothing really for him to do. Calexis is sitting in the back there. Everything just kind of rallied and took pot shots. One of the jet bikes died, but I passed my leadership. And everything's looking kind of swarmy over here. So, Kevin, how are you feeling about it so far?
Not very good, to be quite honest.
Why's that?
Terrible dice rolls.
Dice have been a little bit against you, but I guess that is how Warhammer works.
That's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, so right now we're going to go to my reserve rolls. It's my turn 2, so I've got a lot of stuff to roll for. Coming in on 2s, we'll come back at the end of Eldar turn 2.
One of the great things about his Calexis coming in right now is I have a Farseer coming in from reserve, so now that I know the location of the Calexis, I can deploy and put my psychic powers up in a very defensive nature. His Knight failing the charge was very, very good for me, because now my back right field is protected, and I can start my initial reserve strategy of coming up along the left-hand side of the board, where all of his models are kind of focusing on the right-hand side, and I can just kind of cut him up the bum, so to speak. So we'll see how that works out.
Okay, so end of my turn 2. A lot of stuff came in, but a lot of stuff still off the board. I still have 2 units of Warp Spiders, 1 unit of Bikes off the board. Rolled a lot of 1s. Both of my D-Cannons missed the Knight, which was very, very fortunate for Kevin, but I was able to clear away a unit over here using the Knight, and I was able to clear out the unit there, double firing the Torrent Flamer, or the Hellstorm was actually pretty cool. Put a lot of shots out. Took 2 hull points off the Knight, so it's down to 3. So I get a bonus point from that, which is nice. But I would much rather it be dead. So I'm a little bit under the weather about that one. But a lot of stuff is still in his core, in his table half. So I'm pinning him back pretty well. I feel pretty okay about that. So we'll take a picture and come back at the end of AdMech turn 3.
First of all, I'm going to apologize for the crappy picture quality, but I'll try my level best to explain exactly what's going on. Wasn't very impressed with how that turn turned out. The 2 Volsrath missing the Knight was essential for me to be able to take that Knight down this turn, but now he's in prime position to assault my backfield. The Wraith Knight, or the Wraith Sentinel, wasn't able to delete the entire units of infiltrators, so now he's in a prime position to get assaulted. He's also invisible, and the Calexis is just outside of 12 inches. If he moves just a little bit, he can deny the power. And then the jet bikes were able to clear off one of the infantry units. Overall, not a whole lot of damage was done, but I think it might be enough to be able to sustain me for the next turn. So we'll have to see.
So end of turn 3, we had a lot of assaults going on, and it didn't quite pay off. We had a bit of a gamble. He ran 6 guys at strength 9 at the Wraith Knight, and he survived with 1 wound and then stomped them all away. So he's now free again. Very, very unfortunate for Kevin. Really fortunate for me, though, because I feel like if I wouldn't have been able to deal with those guys anyway. Survived this combat over here, hit and ran. Survived this combat here, hit and ran. Survived this combat here and hit and ran. And he failed his charge over here as well. So I've got a couple more units coming in from reserve, and I feel like we're slowly whittling down. So we'll come back. Current score is actually 4-2. So Kevin's beating me, but we'll come back at the end of Eldar turn 3.
There was a key misplay here for Kevin. He went for an all guts, no glory play by charging my Wraith Knight with the Rust Stalkers and the Infiltrators. What was left, he upped his strength to strength 9, so he was wounding me on 3s. But he didn't move his Assassin into the 12-inch bubble to deny my invisibility, so he was hitting me on 5s, which I think was the reason that my Wraith Knight survived. I only survived with 1 wound, and then I was able to stomp the rest of his unit off the table. So a bit of a misplay there, quite fortunate for me, and I think that might cost him the game, because now my Wraith Knight's free. The Knight is in a very troubling position for him. I can get rear armor, side armor, I can flank him a lot. So very unfortunate, but remember that I do have a couple more units coming in from reserve, so we'll see what happens then.
Okay, so we called it at the bottom of turn 3. What ended up happening? So these guys, after dying, I allowed my Wraithmate to come over here, put a couple of shots into the Walker, so the Walker died. We were able to destroy the Knight with some concentrated firepower from the jet bikes, who were able to get onto the side armor, rolled a lot of 6s. The only thing he really has left at this point, the one drop pod, the Dominus, and then the Assassin, because I know I can't kill the Assassin. So, very good game against Kevin, and we'll take an end of game photo. Kevin, what were your final thoughts? What would you have done? What would you have done differently? Where do you think it all went pear-shaped?
My charge.
Your charge?
That's
This charge right here?
Pay off. Yeah. It's like, I had to take the gamble and it didn't pay off.
It was a good gamble, and I think it was just a couple of shots. I made a very good roll.
If I got him, then things.
You know what I think may have actually changed anything? It's because he was here.
Yeah.
What you should have done is come down here.
So that was a yes?
And moved closer.
For the invisible, yeah, for all.
Take off my invisibility, and then you would have wrecked him.
Yeah.
But he's gonna
That would have been much. I completely forgot about that too.
But that's okay. That's why we play a little practice game. So Collex is obviously very, very important. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the game.
You're welcome. Thank you.